Hey everybody, it's Muscle Car Campy back with another cool Pontiac. Let's be honest, one of the coolest forms of drag racing right now is the factory appearing stock tire class that runs different events all over the country. They have their own events, they run at the National Muscle Car Association events, and cars like this, I look at them and I understand now why they're so popular. Let's be honest, nothing can compete with the look of a classic 60s, early 70s muscle car. No giant bumpers, no weirdness all over, government crash mandated nonsense. They look fabulous. But one thing about these cars, as we all know, they were about untapped potential from the factory, especially in 1971. Pontiac was working very, very hard to make these cars perform like they used to. Despite the government getting involved, they did. And one man, Dave Marquis, who runs this car, has made this thing even faster. Before we really take a deep dive into this car, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you're notified every time a new video goes live. You know, left to its own devices, Pontiac probably would have gone mad by 1971-72 with its cars. Everything would have had 400 plus cubic inches and high compression. They did go to low compression in 1971, but thanks to the F.A.S.T rules, you could do pretty much whatever you want. This particular car has 488 cubes, 12.5-to-1 compression, solid roller cam. But look at the factory parts here. This hood, love the way the hood works. Seals to the factory air cleaner. This car looks stock. You know, it's like a show winner under here. It's an absolute show winner. However, it's not. It runs high 11s, and there's a lot more in this combination, we think, than he's actually taken from it. You might remember Dave because we featured his 68 Firebird convertible in 2022. That car also ran in fast style events, but the fact that it was a ragtop really kept him from going all out in the performance department. It was technically his wife's car, and neither of them wanted to put a roll bar in it, so the plan was to change to a Pontiac with a metal roof. But we're getting way ahead of ourselves. Dave and his wife picked up this car in 1994, long before F.A.S.T was even a thing. The car was then non-original charcoal gray, with all the trim blacked out. On the plus side, it had its original 400 YS block wearing correct number 96 heads. The downside, it didn't actually run very well, and Dave parked it until a better running 400 could be found. Around this time, Dave decided to bring the car back to its original lucerne blue color. This is when the story gets ugly. As he's not a paint and body guy, Dave brought it to a recommended shop in his home state of Connecticut. The Firebird was taken apart and then sat in the guy's place for 18 months before the shop owner died. The car was repainted, but it looked terrible. Shop number 2 said the whole car needed to be redone, but didn't have the time. Body guy number 3 flaked out, putting Dave's sanity at risk. A few years later, he was introduced to Andrew Colling from Colling Restorations in Massachusetts. Andrew did an amazing job, and the result is the stunning vehicle you see here. A lot of what you see inside of Dave's car was factory available, but not original to this particular car. Things like the deluxe interior, the rally gauges, the Trans Am steering wheel. These things Dave added himself, and it just does make the car that much cooler. There are other things in here that day 2 modifications, like the his Hurst shifter. You also have some gauges that he added. Hidden down behind here, there's a vacuum gauge and an air fuel gauge. You see the wire coming out. He plugs that into his laptop. There's an MSD grid behind there, and that helps him dial the car in at launch. It's armed by a button on the dashboard. What he does is he gets in the car, he pushes that button, hits the brake, and it's armed and ready to go. Then when he launches, pulls out some timing. That way he can launch the car. It is legal. Not everybody uses that. He does. You know what's cool about these fast cars is they do run with the stock polyglass tires. These 71 tires much wider than you would expect on a 60s car. He doesn't run with the trim rings because the fear is that they would go flying off down the track, so he just leaves them off on the strip. But again, you know, there's these little styling touches that Pontiac added, like the fake gills on the side, the placement of the Formula 400 badges. They just look so cool to me. I don't know. The polyglass GT tires, the G60 15s. Woo, buddy, that's some, look at how wide these are. Of course, you know, small by today's standards, but this was cutting edge technology back in the day. We're finally rolling in Dave Marquis' 71 Firebird Formula 400. Dave, this is such a cool car. I feel like I'm 18 years old again when these things were everywhere. I love looking out over that dual scoop Formula hood. It just looks so mean. What's your favorite part of this car?
Probably this.
That is good acceleration. It's good freeway merging power. Now again, as we said earlier, you know, that 71 was kind of the beginning of the end for GM Performance. They had, you know, lowered the compression ratios way down. Performance was off. Pontiac was still giving it a good try. You know, they had the 455 HO. This car was an original 400 with 300 horsepower. Pontiac was really still giving it the old college try. They knew how much their reputation and their sales were tied to performance. What really drew you to this car?
I had a 70 in high school. It's the car. It wasn't a Formula. It was a base Firebird. It's the car I met my wife in. It's the only reason she agreed to go out on a blind date with me, actually. So that was fast forward to 1994. I wanted to do something with that car, but the body was too far gone. So my wife found this car in the paper and we bought it. And it was at the time it was charcoal gray. All the chrome was blacked out, and it had some kind of fake Krager SS wheels on it.
Not even real Kragers.
No, they weren't even real. No, they're fake. And I didn't mind the look of the car at the time, but then when I was washing it one day, a piece of paint peeled off in the trunk, and I saw the blue underneath. So I did a little research, and I found out it's Lucerne blue. Then I got the PHS on it, and I found out that this car was originally Lucerne blue car. So that was my goal. As soon as I could afford to, which was many years later, I got it restored in Lucerne blue.
Nice. Yeah. And I will tell you, these seats are really comfortable. Like I said, I love looking out over that blue hood. It's one of the best colors of that era.
Pretty sure this isn't legal. Let's get over it.
Dave's best DT so far has been 1195 at almost 114, but just like any other car guy, he's not completely satisfied. He knows there's more in this combination. He just ordered a set of 373 gears for the rear. He's going to play with the suspension, the tune. He's probably also going to upgrade the torque converter. His goal is to get it down to 1150 at 120 miles an hour and still be very streetable. We think these are very attainable goals. Alright everybody, this is Muscle Car Campy saying see you later. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you're notified every time a new video goes live. I'm keeping my arms crossed across my chest so I don't show my sweat stains. It's really hot here today, just like this Firebird.
In the 99 grand. Firebird gonna get there first. 12:05, 113.